Cheryl, you ready for the chit chat tonight?
I'm ready.
Bam, bam, bam. He or she said, cancel this damn show. They hate it. What? Hold on. Wait a minute.
Make black hair great again.
Hold on. Wait a minute. Now,
We're coming. Get our check.
Cheryl Morrow, the one, the only, the hair oracle.
That was it was Red Dot, and then we also had a cosmetology school instructor in the chat, Miss Denise West, Michelle Allen, Miss Foster. Dang, I missed her. Hey! It's always nice to see Miss Foster in the chat. Michelle Allen, you know how much we love you too.
What? About a whole lot of peace. Cheryl, you order that in a bag of chips. Oh, that's what he like. Where y'all at? We got a commercial. Y'all want none.
Yeah,
Got me a little microphone right here. What's up, Monica on the ATS? Look at that. Look what I got, y'all. Got me a little microphone. You know what I'm saying? What's happening, good people? I got me a little microphone. You know what I'm saying? I had a little extra money.
MC Kilo.
Y'all know about that pickle jar. What's happening, good people? How you guys doing out there? It's me, your homegirl Ladosha, right? AKA Lo Lo. That's right. We are on our 95th episode of the dumbest hoo-hoo that people say about the black hair. And y'all know who we got. Hold on. I gotta get my finger right. Y'all know how I am. I messed up there. Right there. The one and only Cheryl Morrow, the hair oracle, is in the heezy. I see already. Oh my God, the chat is on fire. I think we're about to be some real live YouTubers. What's going down? Afro. Got the bad love. Got the Marley Warrior Clan in the chat. What's happening? We got our virtual co-host. Sandra is in the chat. We are so excited. Monica, look what I got for Christmas. I got a microphone. You ain't got one. Remember we used to say when you got something new? Nah, new. Stick your hand in doo-doo. Y'all gotta be from the project to know about that one. Y'all don't know about that? They coming for Cheryl's hat. I hope you guys are having a wonderful, joyous day. It's just absolutely fantabulous here on the dumbest ish that people say about black hair. We're going to go ahead on and play our theme song by none other than Miss Rachel Evans. Sister, let me do your hair as we get ready to have a wonderful conversation about Afro hair art and its influence on America. Oh, y'all like that song? God shines grace on thee. Woo-hoo! And crown that good with brotherhood. And that's where we gonna stop it at for the good. Hey, what's up? I ain't got no bars, y'all. Hey, come on through. Come on through. Hey. 95 episodes in, 5 episodes away from 100. I don't know what we gonna do when we get to 100. Hey, don't forget, you can get your own version of Rachel Evans. Just go to Amazon Prime and pay for your download of Sister, Let Me Do Your Hair. Come on, Hair Savant. They need to let us, me and Hair Savant, and sure we'll hook them heads up.
Yeah, absolutely.
We got us some Morrow combs and what have you and what not. Turn your music up. Come on. Turn
Absolutely.
it up. Turn it up. Come on, turn it up. Do the walk. Come on, y'all. Do that walk. Hey. Y'all remember the walk? B Fats had that. It's called the walk. Hey. Let's do your hair. Come on in. 95 episodes in. Come on in to America's favorite podcast about Afro hair. It's me, your homegirl, Ladosha Wright, aka Lo Lo. And right over there, we got the one and only Cheryl Morrow, the hair oracle.
Oh, that Black comic day yesterday. Interesting conversation.
Oh, I'm going to talk about that a little bit too. Hey. Come on. Y'all want none of that.
Yeah, they don't know.
Y'all want none of that sexy.
They don't know.
Sexy saxophone. I didn't know about that sexy saxophone. Hey.
Let me
do your hair.
I'm trying to be cool like
Let me do your hair. Hey. Let me do your hair. Hey, they say, sure, you killing it. Killing the game. All right now. Beautiful, beautiful. The one and only sister, Rachel Evans, is the songstress of our theme song, and it is called Sister, Let Me Do Your Hair. And if you are new, welcome, welcome, welcome to America's favorite podcast about Afro hair. We're talking about the dumbest shit that people say about Black hair. And when we say some dumb, it's so much dumb stuff being said out here. We can do this podcast till the cows come home. You know what I'm talking about? Because it's just the poo-poo just don't stop coming. But that's what poo-poo do. You know, you get the poo-poo in, you eat that stuff, and then the poo-poo got to come out. So that's just what happens. And our job here is just to really, kind of make fun, make light of it, right? Some of the stuff is very, very serious. And so Cheryl and I am a licensed cosmetologist here in Cleveland, Ohio. Cheryl is an heiress to the California Curl Empire. She is also a cosmetic trichologist. So we feel like we have the bona fides, if you will, that we can really talk about some dumb shit that come through up in here. You know what I'm saying? But you know what? We don't always have it right, because per the commercial, somebody said, I hate this podcast. I hate it. They hate the platform. Told me I was ugly. You ugly, Ladosha. I'm like, ooh, I like that. You know what I'm saying? But that's what it's all about, freedom of speech. So absolutely. America is the capital of say, do what you like. do an insurrection and write boo-boo all on the floor. Act a fool. You know what I'm saying? That's right. So this is the country where you can go ahead and speak your piece. And our goal here is just to really make light of these situations. And tonight we're going to be talking about the art of Afro hair. In case you didn't know, it is officially Black History Month. Okay. And so that's what we do here in America. February kicks off the beginning of Black History 365 days, a year, 24 hours, 7 days. You guys get it. So Black history is really not about just celebrating the month. Again, it kicks off the history. And if you want to know more about why Carter G. Woodson said, let's do this, just go over to ASLA's website. That's ASLAH. And you can get the source, hear it or read it from the source's fingers. And he'll tell you exactly what Black history is all about. So to those of you who always say, they picked the shortest month of the year, that's not true, okay? That's pseudo. So we're just kicking it off right here. They do have a theme. And if you go over to the Smithsonian Institute and ASLA's own very own website, you will learn that 2024 is all about the art of resistance. Is what did we do with this art to elevate our people and speak truth to power. And I can't really think of anything better than hair that elevated people and spoke and continues to speak a lot of truth to power because when you read my book, What They Don't Tell You at the Hair Salon, 400 Years Without a Comb, as well as Cheryl's book, you will learn that there is no way to talk about hair in any capacity, at least here in America, without talking about, the history, its history. So Afro hair is very, very intertwined into the unfolding of what we call the United States of America. And so with that said, Cheryl, what happened with you over the weekend? What happened up in California? Hey.
And we had a Black Comics Day.
I think I got some stuff here. Go ahead. I'm gonna see if I can show some of that Black Comics Day. Okay.
Yeah, Black Comics Day to 2024 at the World Beat Center. Anybody who comes through San Diego knows they got to stop by the Black Mecca, which is the World Beat Center in Balboa Park, historic Balboa Park, and a fabulous gentleman named Keithan Jones, aka the Kid. And let me just say that it is, man, we had a fabulous time. The most incredible, eclectic, prolific artists, graphic novelists, comic book designers, cartoonists, you name it, was in one room.
Okay.
And so I was introducing the idea of the Grand Master, which is the comic book I would say graphic novel of 360-degree lifestyle and expansion, how to have a 360-degree career. And this covers the life of the late great beauty mogul himself, and inventor, author, expert, businessman, chemist. I mean, whatever the case may be. I mean, look.
All right, so can I just show some of look at some of these images. Woo! Look at this. Now, is this like your version of a comic book here? 9 laws of a 360-degree barber. What is a 360-degree barber master? As I scroll through the images,
it is the expansion of a total career and how to be able to just use your chair as the launching pad of a grander, more 360-degree career. Expand it, maximize it, then turn it back on itself, and then give your art and deposit into the industry that gave so many wonderful resources and things. So I take a chronicalized perspective on his life. That is that infamous Greyhound bus. He came from Alabama.
And as you scroll down, you're there from
Alabama.
Ooh,
yeah, that is to really tame the dragon, which is within all of us. This is 2024. It's the 8 is the year of the dragon. In other cultures,
Daddy got them LL Cool J lips. Okay, Dr. Morrow with them LL Cool J lips. Slay your dragon. That know from the projects. It's okay. Rest in peace, Dr. Morrow. You still got the sexiest lips. Okay. All right.
And so it is just something to really have a conversation from someone who maximized their talent in a 360-degree capacity and didn't just stay with the chair. That chair took him around the world. By 28, did 1 million miles in the sky. And so it is a wonderful years of conversation with that old wonderful genius of a man and father. And I just kind of compiled it in a book, and it will
Oh.
be ready in about a couple of weeks, and we'll get
You
that
know
done.
what I was finished to say. When can we buy it? All right. And so what is the name of the publication again?
It is called Grand Master.
Grandmaster, cut faster. What y'all know about that Grandmaster? Y'all don't know. We're talking about Grandmaster Flash and Melly
Yeah.
Mel. Hey, that's a
Well,
nice name.
he's got some laws on how to use your chair as a launch pad, not
Mm,
just something stagnant, and to
okay.
become a barber master. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so we're gonna give a couple of super shout outs. What's up, Hair Savant in the house? My homegirl Armadia. I got my homegirl Monica, our virtual host, Miss Sandra E is also in the chat. We got LB Lawana. Hey, Eileen, how you doing? How you doing? We got Teta Monster Neferu. I can't pronounce all that. So what's happening? What's happening? Welcome to the 95th episode of the dumbest ish that people say about black hair. And tonight it is all about Afro hair art because the theme, which we're going to rock the entire month, in unison with the theme for Black History Month 2024. Again, it is all about the art of resistance. And so they are asking anyone who is honoring and celebrating Black History Month or throughout the year, because remember, February kicks off the year of Black history, okay?
The real fiscal
The
year.
real fiscal year,
Black
not
history
just
to Black history.
all right, so we're going to go past February. And again, we're talking about how do we use this art to uplift our race and speak truth to power and get our people liberated. And so today or this month on this channel, we're going to be highlighting hair. And so we're going to talk about Afro hair. But we got to start off with some of our current events. So I have some wonderful images here just to kind of, we all saw the Grammys and we heard that Killer Mike got arrested. I still don't know what he got arrested for, but here was the hot topic that I went on Google and saw about the Grammys. Check this out. They don't like Miley Cyrus. I just want to let y'all know I'm from the 80s, and I totally do not like the disrespect of big hair. I love big hair.
I love big hair.
I think big hair because you get to see the damn hair. You know, these flat, straight hairstyles. That is a hair style. So y'all leave Miley Cyrus alone. They was like her hair touched the ceiling. That ain't even, I mean, what's wrong with that? What do you guys think in the chat? Is that an ugly hairstyle? Is that really big hair?
She rocking them highlights.
I mean, she got dimensions going off in there. She got a couple of colors up in there. I like her.
Gorgeous.
I mean, what do you guys think? Is Miley Cyrus's hair too big? I like to curl hair. All of my videos are all about, you know, curls and so on and so forth. So maybe I'm what they say biased. You know, perhaps I'm a little biased, but I like Miley Cyrus hair. But let's see what people in the chat has to say. Do you guys think her hair, it says Miley Cyrus tried to make her hair touch the ceiling. Are you guys really serious? And who wrote this? Lisa Pinzavalli. Okay, I'm gonna have to reach out to her and say, girl, you better go somewhere and have several seats. Okay. I like Miley Cyrus's hair. So let's see what the chat had to say about Miley Cyrus. Okay, so everybody is saying, yeah. So far, our virtual co-host, Miss Sandra E says her hair is not big at all. I don't know what y'all talking about. Okay, so I don't know. So let's move over to the next one. Here's some shade. Now I don't know who Travis Kelce is. Okay. But I guess it's somebody that Taylor Swift liked, but this is all on Instagram, okay? So Travis Kelce's barber, Patrick Reagan, I kid you not, he's out here telling Kelce he made the fade haircut iconic. Now, I ain't trying to be funny, bro, but
folks. Well,
Black History Month. Now
they hit that at Black Comics. They hit that like what is you talking about? And of course, Miss Swift is now taking apart the jerseys, and wearing it like they already wore it in Brooklyn. They already wore it in hip hop. They already did that. So now, Taylor Swift, they showing up, you know, aggregating the black fashion statement. What else they gonna do? I'm not offended.
Okay.
I'm just
Come
not.
on. Here we go. Boy, bye. Okay. Now
Thank you.
I don't know. I'm not about to perpetrate and act like I know who invented the fade haircut, but I guarantee you it wasn't him. Okay. So I'm gonna let that sit right there, and I'm going with Hair Savant. Boy, bye. Okay.
And why do we have a flashlight on top of our head?
Because he need to see, he trying to show them skills. He got to, he got to see that line up. He got that, that hand tight. You know what I'm saying? So anywho, so that came through. Now you're gonna love this one here. I saw this came through. You ready? This is coming through on beautyanswer.com. Hair Savant. Everybody in the chat, I hope you are. I know this is the dumbest shit that people say about the black hair. This is our 95th episode. We're going to be talking about afros and its art and how it moved America. And as we can see right here, here is a question that someone wants to know. Her name is Linnea Patterson. This is in January, okay? We're not talking about 1904. It's 2024. And this person actually wants to know, what is a wash and set? And the article pretty much tells you, what a wash and set is. And any comments? Chat, why are you guys quiet? Any comment? Does anybody in the chat even know what a wash and set is? I'm just wondering, because there is someone in America named Lainey Patterson. She wants to know, what is a wash and set? And I'm
Lane, Miss Peterson.
Here's of us. He said, I need people to stop. People won't stop. And this is why we have this podcast, because we know a lot of y'all think we joking out here. And this is exactly why we started this podcast. And again, we're making light of it because some people really don't know. But dude, okay, I'm with you, Hair Savant. Come on now, just stop it. All right, cut it out already. All right, so so there, yeah, I mean that's January 24. This is not a joke. Also, if you live in the greater Cleveland area, the Rebels Design Team is back with our African Know Thyself think tank, and we are going to be talking about plantation beauty. And this was inspired by none other than Danny Michael, right here. He's one of our supporters on the Afro Hair Science YouTube channel. So we are doing this in partnership with the Golden Ciphers and the Kings and Queens of Art. We're going to have a panel discussion, and Dr. Willie Morrow's book, 400 Years Without a Comb, will be our talking points about plantation beauty. Okay, so that's free, and you can just visit the website and or just look on our social media, and we'll have that all posted up. And then last but not least, I have to show you guys, my son got married. And so I'm going to show you guys a picture of him and his beautiful bride. There they are. Can I do my own round of applause?
Yes,
Would that just be a little too arrogant?
No. Go ahead,
okay, so Cheryl gave me permission that I can go ahead on and I can do a clap for my son and his. Her name is Miss Ashiki. And Craig Taylor Jr. And so they had their nuptials on Friday, and I talked to Cheryl every step of the way. Yes, I did arrive to the mosque exactly 45 minutes early. I'm just saying, because I'm that mother-in-law, you know what I'm saying? I'm that, I was there, I was taking all kinds of pictures and everything. So yeah, so there you have it. That is my son, Craig Taylor, and his beautiful bride, Miss Ashiki. And so February the 2nd, they got married. And so thank you guys for allowing me to share just a little bit of love up in here, because that's what we do. So just one more round of applause for the Mr. and Mrs. Craig Taylor. Okay, so there we have it right here. So that's what's happening here in our neck of the woods. And so we thank you guys so much for tuning in to the 95th episode of the dumbest ish that people say about Black hair. So we're gonna hop into the topic, and it's all about, Afro hair and its resistance, and what it did for America. So what I want to do, so Cheryl, I picked out what I felt were the most iconic Afro hairstyles, or African American hairstyles that influenced the politics, just the landscape. And why we did these things, because this is something that we have to talk about, because a lot of this has a lot of hair shaming and blaming and anger. So I'm going to read them off, and then we'll go through them one by one. And of course, I have some videos that we can just kind of pull through, but here's my list. So these are the hairstyles worn by African Americans that really changed the landscape of America by way of politics, employment, you name it, music. I don't care. You just name it. I'm gonna tell you right now, that hair is gonna be, in it. So first and foremost, we got to talk about the rag that we wore on our head. There is a narrative that the slaves, and particularly South America, wore the braids, to the escape. And so in America, that's not our narrative. Our ancestors, had to have their hair covered because it was hot out there. I read that in your dad's book, that a lot of times the head was covered because it was so hot to work out in those cotton fields. I mean, this is something that I can't even imagine. So we'll start off with, just tying the hair down, you know what I'm saying? And then we'll move over to the conk. I have the Afro, the iconic Superfly. We would just be no type of hairstylist if we did not talk about Bob Marley and his locks. Though he's not an American, his locks definitely had some influence here. We got to highlight the California curl. We got to talk about the relaxer, and I'm going to put Andre Walker in with that. And the reason being is because his hairstyling of Oprah Winfrey's hair just really had, Black women, we just really wanted that flowy. We had moved away from that set, that washing set, and we wanted that hair to be moving. So Andre Walker was definitely influential in more modern day times. And I'm sure you can highlight some other people like Barry Fletcher, some of us that we just don't know about. We got to talk about that high top fade, because, that high top, woo, that did something to America like no other. So we have to talk about the high top fade. And now we have the weaves, right? Mm-hmm. So we have our transgender hairstylist, the illustrious Tokyo Styles. So she is the hairstylist of Nicki Minaj and Cardi B. And we can't, we got to talk. The weave slayers don't get no love. So we're going to show the weave slayers some love. I know people are like, I don't like no weaves. I like weaves. I can't wear them. I love weaves. I like to see what Tokyo Styles is doing out here in these streets on these girls' heads, because she could slay a weave. And so those are the styles that I felt, really permeated this fabric of American education, politics, religion, you name it. What do you think about that list? As I'm going to pull up, some images of the, the hair during slavery.
Are you asking me about your list, or?
Yeah, my list. Yeah. What do you think about that list?
It's pretty comprehensive. It does cover eras. I mean, there's so many to choose from, as everyone took advantage of them. And I think, like you said, I think the hairstylists in the 70s, when you had the era of, the disco,
Mm-hmm.
and you had, because black people and black people's music did make the discotheque and that whole nightlife very glamorous and very sexy, which we don't talk about a lot, made liquor companies multi-billion-dollar entities.
Hmm.
Uh, but
All right. You mean Budweiser? Here comes the king.
well, when you're talking about moving from a different era of a lot of protests, but when we decided to get into the late 60s and 70s, when you had disco, all of that music was about love. It was about dancing. It was about being glamorous, and that is my favorite era. And
Disco is your favorite era?
disco is my favorite era.
Who else loves disco? I would never in a million years. I don't even think about disco. Does anybody in the chat like disco music? Sure, I am totally shocked. You look like you look like you might like some Thelonious Monk, with your hat and your glasses and shit,
No,
You all smart. I know smart girls like disco.
Heaven must be missing an angel.
Look at all this disco. Y'all love disco? What the hell?
Man, that is probably the most greatest era of the richest era.
Oh my! This chat
Put
lit up.
Put a lot of money.
Damn.
When you have Chic, and all black artists that came from R&B and went into all of that particular music. That's the best era of the Temptations. That's all of that love and fabulous, gorgeous, romantic lifestyle. We had jobs. We were rolling. That's the height of the most fanciest, most elegant black people. The Bronner brother was absolutely so.
Y'all see my face? I'm like disco.
Oh yeah.
Talking about Willis? Well, as usual, my last name is Wright, but according to this chat, I'm wrong again because everybody is loving disco. Lawana said she was a little bit too young to go to a disco. I remember disco music, but I remember when they burned. Remember they had the big event and they burned all the disco records. I think it was at a baseball field or something like that.
Yeah, because that was white American music did not like being replaced. And everybody was starting to play black music, and because black music was talking about love, everybody wanted to copy that blue-eyed soul kind of sound, that Daryl Hall and John Oates. Everybody was copying it. It was romantic. Everybody wanted to. I mean, because if you talk about even when you think about black men, they were at the height of their sexiest. Teddy P. I mean, when you're talking about that era, and everybody thinks about just disco, Ashford and Simpson, you're talking about the most. I
am such a hip hop head. So I'm sitting over here like, well, when we gonna get to Big Daddy Kane? Okay, but it is unanimous in this chat. Here's
when you get those receipts, everybody gravitated to the Studio 54, the warehouses, the house music, all of that dance, all of that real expansive Saturday Night Live, the Bee Gees kind of sexy, wonderful music. That was the era of elegance.
Wow. Well, again, you have tuned in. Let me get to my note. The 95th episode of the dumbest who that people say about black. I just didn't know that. I did not know that.
The moment, the moment Sister Sledge come on, I wonder why. He's the greatest dancer. I wonder why. Could I ever see? Oh man, come on, y'all. That was man. You put on
I ain't gonna lie. I kind of thought disco was.
My absolute favorite era of music. And don't let
so music and hair
So
Cheryl
that
is
was when you had the snatch back, you had the asymmetrical cuts, you had the most elegant. You did not go out in no jeans and no, baby. You went out in stilettos. You made sure that you had VIP was made in the disco, baby. You drunk the best VSOP. Man, you had made sure that you had your chic. Okay.
okay. Okay. I'm with you here, Savant. Don't you get nothing started, Cheryl. Okay. Well,
We need
I
to go back
mean,
to that, because I'm telling you,
okay.
you didn't. Hey, that dance. Come on now.
Okay, LB.
Wait
I
a
see
minute,
y'all.
wait a
I
minute.
feel some
Wait a
type.
minute. Remember the
Maybe
midnight special with Wolfman Jack?
so
Oh man,
clearly
it's
so
Friday night.
I am truly the odd man out here. And so it's the perfect segue into the topic of how our hair was able to do even in music. So we're going to get to that era and come back to it again. But I feel like I learned something that I want to kind of get into that a little bit more because you seem to know a lot more than because to me disco music is like oh gosh I was hip hop was just getting started, so I don't know, I'm just kind of on the fence. It's just like my mom listened
Yeah,
to,
let
but
me just say that hip hop brought a different energy, you know. But
mm-hmm.
I can just say my soul was just so much more sensual and sexy, and I was on to money making, you know, and hip hop was just something to do on the weekend. You know what I mean?
Okay. Well, the chat is very classy with you, and so I think I need to learn some more. But let's start off with plantation beauty here, okay? And so I'm just gonna show. Here we go. Share screen. Let's talk about this whole. Now we wouldn't technically call this a hairstyle, but there is much debate about what happened to the hair on the plantation. I know you talked about, the scarf being part of the dress code. So let's talk about the power of that head wrap and what it did. Now, remember the theme is about the art of resistance, uplifting, speaking truth to power, and elevating our people out of situations. So, what role would that scarf and tying the hair down and reveal to us some of the things that happened on the plantation that kind of moved us, through that to survive. Because there are a lot of images here. Oh, but everybody hair is they've got various coverings on top of them, so let's get into that as I click through some of the images.
Yeah. The art, in my understanding, and how I would probably do a lecture in a learning institution or a college campus, the head rag is Black women's version of not being seen. Okay. And it's not resistance at all. It's just omission, right? It's just the art of omission, which means that they did not want to be seen when they did not have the proper tools to be seen anyway. And they didn't want to bring extra attention to themselves because of the separation issues. And so we know what covering yourself, making yourself invisible, making yourself not asking for extra attention, especially from the opposite sex, because you could run the risk of being separated from your family. And you're just trying to minimize yourself and do the opposite of resistance, which is an art in and of itself. So you're not really trying to make yourself look your most attractive, right? You are trying to stay
Right.
congruent and to be invisible, and so you can stay with your family. But and also it is a way of, it's a defense mechanism to make sure that you look matronly. And to look matronly is the safest position for Black women in a country that is so vile and vicious and turbulent for women who men find maybe vulnerable
Okay.
to tamper with. But we all know that we did have lack of beautifying tools. But most importantly, it's important to make sure what was going on in the environment at
Mm.
the same time. Does
Okay.
that make sense?
Yeah. Wow. That's very interesting the way you kind of poise that the art of omission and trying to look matronly and not attractive and it's funny because when you hear the narratives about what was happening on the plantation, it's almost as if there was no deliberate thought processes going on. It was just like we were just at the mercy and we didn't really kind of think this through. But um the way that you're posing this is definitely another narrative that I had never thought of. When you talk about tying the hair down, it's just it was just a matter of you didn't have a comb. And so now we see it's a little bit more, than vanity and somebody calling you nappy headed, because that's and these are some of the things that I'm just talking about myself. I ain't talking about nobody else. So I appreciate that. Again, if you have any questions, then by all means, we want you guys to drop them in the chat. And we are on our 95th episode. We're talking about art and hair. So of course we have to move over to the Afro. And so let me just pull up. I'm gonna show let me get your dad's image here. What 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 was it about the Afro that made it so political? That is something that, aside from the, this whole straight hair, there seems to be something deeper about the Afro that I think we're missing in the narrative of using hair as art. So I'm just going to use your dad's image here and take us a little bit more about this Afro and what it did here, in the States, you know, and really. Whew, that whole political landscape, that Afro really scared a lot of, what's his name, J. Edgar Hoover. He was really afraid of this Afro.
It was not the Afro per se, and here's one of the this is what we as Black people get wrong. And one of the key that where I correct the narrative that is very important is because one, I got the stories not just from Mr. Morrow. I got stories from people who lived in that time era as we studied for to write the books, the art of sciences, the cosmetology book, and the barber book, and the history book. But here's the thing: the comb came first, not the hairstyle.
Wow.
The comb came at least 7 years before the popularity. The
What you
word,
talking about, Willis? Shut the front door.
yeah,
Why we oh I want my money back.
when you look at Mr. Morrow's book, Cutting and Styling Negro Hair, and that could have been 1967.
That's a good year, by the way. I'm just saying.
Yes, and when you look at the way he was cutting it, we didn't name the Afro in terms of the commercial Afro that we love to talk about in a very light, superfluous way, which is what we know as the commercial version. That came many years after Mr. Morrow first saw a comb from his friend Robert Bell that when he brought it back from Ghana. Okay.
I
And
remember, I don't know if you guys are in the chat or old enough, but I'm telling you, I know that obviously the pick was out, you're talking about the 70s, but it was a comb that was probably the most I have no word. I can't even describe how not having that comb was just, it was for our parents, for us.
Mhm.
Yeah. I don't know. I just don't know what to say about not having a comb. I mean,
Right.
today we have all these combs, and to
And,
hear
and
that
here
that the
and here
Afro
we go
comb was
again.
out 7 years before the Afro.
Right. And then you would wonder why black people being ingenious in adapting their actual hair to the actual tool and not the tool to the hair, because that is where the Afro, we for the first time we allowed the hair and the culture of the comb and the culture of our birthness and our blackness to meet at the same time. Because when after you get off the plantation, black men immediately straightened their hair. If you were a ball player, upwardly mobile businessman, or if you even look at Garrett Morgan's hair is straight. And so he used his own concoctions, and he understood that that science came from the plantation of women using lye soap to do all their domestic duties. But anyway, but as I digressed,
No,
but
no, we need. I kind of skipped the conch. I was kind of trying to save that for Thursday, but anywho, so the men went
to
directly
straight
to
hair,
straight hair, and
right?
that was about what? Because
That was
we
about vanity. That was about race. So you have to understand, black men did the very same thing as black women did. They just did it sooner. Yeah, they just did it maybe 35, 40 years before black women did it.
hmm.
So hair straightening is a real masculine thing that black men only did in the barbershop.
I'm starting to realize that everything from fashion to dresses to bangs, I mean, it's like men wore everything first, is what I'm. Am I
Well, they had
wrong?
they had the freedoms to. You have to
Duh.
understand, those black women, Madam C.J. Walker and Annie Malone and Madam M.S. Gold Young, and they weren't getting married because they were in love. They was getting married because they couldn't do shit.
No, don't say that, sure. You broke my feelings. I don't
No,
want to
but
say
at the end of the
that. I
day,
don't like
you
to
it,
say that.
oh,
Okay.
that's why you do have the burst of divorces after the 70s, because that's when the Credit Act now could allow women to be able to get their own credit score. You couldn't even a woman's credit score was her husband's credit score.
Good
And so
Lord, eight nickels.
when you do have these women who are very powerful, they're always married. The men may not be married, but the women had to be married because they couldn't get bank accounts, they couldn't get loans, they couldn't do certain things. But anyway, but black men straighten their hair. Ball players, jazz club owners, musicians, tailors, and high powered of industrial kind of titans. Their hair was straight.
Okay. All right. So we went from the afros and we're starting to see. So what do you say about the narrative of the afros being
Mhm.
political? What's your take on that narrative?
I think that there's a natural rebellion to just be just to wear your birth texture. But here's the thing: if the comb had not laid the groundwork and become a tool implemented into the commissaries in the military, and to be able to fashion your hair before it was coined, because Mr. Morrow, you actually could walk in and request an afro. Black people didn't know what that was. It was just that they had natural hair and then they had a comb. But he actually, because the word afro, is culture. It doesn't, it, that the word afro, that the name of the hairstyle was Afro natural. So black people cut the word in even two. It was either an afro or you had a natural. Those were coined terms of the hairstyle. But if you didn't get it in a barber shop and you didn't actually go to the barber to get a afro, no one knew what you were talking about. because you just brought the comb and just started combing your hair. And then, but when, let's just say, when Black Panthers would come from San Diego and then they go, get on a bus and they would go to the meetings in Oakland, California, to be in the Black Panthers or to be in the US organization or any other organizational, cultural organizations at that time, they would say, how did you get your hair so round? And they would say, and it's in one of the documentaries of Black Panthers, man, there's a brother down in San Diego, it's called an Afro natural. So Black people weren't, if you didn't get into the world of fashion and hair and cosmetology or barbering, you didn't know that that was actually called something.
Wow, that's amazing that your dad is the man that's actually responsible. He coined the term. First, he brought the tool, right? And
Right.
then he
Yeah.
coined the term. He commercialized it. I'm talking about, we just got to give it up for Dr. Morrow because, if it wasn't for him, I just got to go ahead and whoops, hit the wrong one. Sorry. Give him that big old fashioned round of applause. He was pretty bold in his day. I'm sure they was.
Well, he wanted to make it available, and in order to make something available, which we always talk about, which is the next level of a 360-degree career, you have to start making the things that you do with your hands and your ideas. You have to learn how to package them and then making them available for every subsequent client, everybody else's clients, everybody in the street, and everybody in the government, everybody in your sports teams in your city. So Mr. Morrow's barbershop, he knew what he was doing. He started becoming a ticket box office for the San Diego Chargers. And that's how he met Ernie Barnes.
All right. Well,
and so that's how everything, but it's the Afro natural. Then they cut it up and either became the Afro or the natural. And then I think natural just really dropped off after a while.
And it just became the Afro.
Right.
All right. Well, Monica has a question about conk. We kind of moved past it. We're just going to backtrack a little bit. What's the conk about trying to assimilate? She has a question mark there.
When you look at Little Richard, right? And you look at Miles Davis, you look at Nat King Cole, you look at men like Duke Ellington, you look at Satchel Paige, you look at Satchmo Armstrong, and you look at Louis Armstrong's what he was known as Satchmo, and you look at those particular artists, and you look at James Brown, right? Are you gonna go up to those men and tell them they was trying to be white? I mean, are you really gonna tell them that? As if to say they can hide every personality, character that Africa has given them, their voice, their music, their rhythm, their sound, their walk, their clothes. You can't hide your blackness by changing you're straightening your hair. So assimilating where? They still got shot. They still got told to go to the back of the. I mean, it's so ridiculous to even.
Oh my goodness!
You're not walking up to brother number one and telling them that all of a sudden he gonna lose every other subsequent African phenotype trait just because he straightened his hair.
Well, that's a powerful statement because, Cheryl, you do understand. This is Black History Month. We are talking about the art of resistance and how we use this to uplift, speak truth about power, and elevate people. But you have a whole historical narrative that we didn't do any of what the Black History Month, the ASLA and the Smithsonian Institute is asking us to do when we talk about men straightening their hair or just Black people in general. The narrative is that when you straighten your hair, like Monica said, is it an issue of assimilation? I have never heard anyone say, how does straightening the hair remove you just a little bit from your blackness? It didn't mean that you was going to be able to sit in a special seat on the
Well,
bus.
it don't make white folks any comfortable. Just because you got a black man sounding like James Brown screaming, doing the splits and moving like no other human being they've ever seen, they don't
That
get
part.
any more comfortable. So assimilate where?
Mm.
Assimilate to what?
Oh,
They don't. You still had to get your ass in that back of that color section.
oh,
What are black people talking about?
oh, hold
Assimilate
on.
where?
Oh my goodness, it's a fire. Hold on, because I gotta drop the bomb on that one right there. I just nobody says this.
It's not
Nobody says
assimilation. It's called
nobody's
audacity. It's not assimilation. It's called audacity. You're not gonna keep me. It doesn't make a difference. You still coveting my lip, my ass, my nose, my eyes, my sound. I mean, it's almost like this. If you never saw black people, why can black people and white people know we black? And you ain't got to be. You don't even have to see us. So we must sound black. There must be something. It's so insidious in the stew. You don't even know what. You don't even know where it is. It's just black. And with black people,
insidious in the stew. That's some bad shit right there. So on that note, go ahead.
Right. And so my point is that it's audacity. It's not simulation. Black folks still with the temptations, with all that straight conked, straight hair, grease down. Guess where they still had to go? So at the end of the day, if I assimilated, that means that white folks are more comfortable. White folks was never comfortable with Duke Ellington, no matter how they just stood in awe of him. It never made a difference. They still told his black ass to go to the back of the bus. So when black people say and I'm not saying that you are, madam. What I'm saying is, black folks, stop saying stupid shit. Assimilate where?
Well,
where did you ever assimilate? Little Richard wouldn't give up that screaming and that black shit he did, and standing on the piano and playing music with the heel of his shoe. He didn't stop doing that. That's the blackness, because that's what they was coming to see. And they was coming to see how, God damn it, he just got off the goddamn plantation. Now his ass is up there and that shit just swinging and shit. And I know they probably was like, how do they do that? And this was audacity. It wasn't assimilation.
Oh my God.
And it was lack of tools. Come on, we adapted. That's what makes us brilliant.
Mm.
Come on,
well,
folks, stop saying that shit.
Here's what we want you guys to do. Right, Monica, we got you, but we need the questions to be asked. And so here's what you can do right now. If you want to change the narrative from assimilation to audacity, right now, you can help change the narrative during Black History Month, now and forevermore. The minute you hear someone say they were trying to assimilate, you will say, what? No, they were being audacious. And how do you do that? You do this by doing what Sandra is asking everybody in the chat to do right now. All you got to do is do this. Show them, Cheryl.
Pampa me on, pampa me on.
Partner with us to help change the narrative, excuse me, about the dumbest shit that people say about Black hair, like assimilation and acculturation. This is not what is happening here with our people and our ancestors. Like she said, nothing special happened to Black people when they straightened their hair. That's just woo. That's yeah. That's that. It's on fire. All right. So what about now? Here's a good one. All right. So let me go here. Oh, here we go right here. All right. What about this gentleman here in this movie? Because I hear my mentor all the time say, 1 minute in 1 week, brothers went from afros to this right here in 1 week. This is what a hairstyle did to Black men in America. Here it go right here. Bam.
Oh,
Um
oh,
let me go ahead on. I know y'all probably gonna want to hear a little bit. So let me just go ahead
right.
on. So let's talk about Ron O'Neal. And we're just gonna go ahead and see if we can find a little bit of Curtis Mayfield Superfly. Let's see
Absolutely.
if I can get
Absolutely.
that. Here we go. Superfly, Curtis. Oh, here we go. So I want to play just a little bit of that Curtis Mayfield. We do not own the rights to the music, but we want to know, how does Superfly, that hairstyle by the infamous Walter Fontaine, changed black men from dashikis to this? Oh, ow! Come on, y'all. Hey! Man, ow!
Ain't changing. What?
Hey!
What?
All right now. So Cheryl, how
Yeah,
did
it,
we
it didn't
go
show
from
nothing. It didn't show nothing,
it didn't
sis.
show it? Okay, let me go back. Hold on. Let me go back. Present. Oh, let me take my earbuds out. Hold on. Let me take that out. All right. So here we go right here. Share the screen and let's go back to share. How do we go from dashikis to this?
Darkest of night with the moon shining bright. There's a set going strong, a lot of things going on. The man of the hour has an air of great power. The dudes have envied him for so long. Oh, Superfly, you're gonna make your fortune back.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And at the same time, you had, you had Shaft. You got your something happened with your earbud, something happened with your mic, something.
Okay. You still couldn't hear it?
Well, I can hear that, but something happened to your voice.
Oh yeah, I took me out. I put me on mute.
Oh, okay. Well,
All right. Okay. So how do we go from dashikis to Superfly? I mean,
well,
Ronald.
first
This
of all,
hairstyle. How
can
did
I
this
can I
hair?
say something?
Yeah. How did this hairstyle?
Black man, it's a secret. Come on here, Savant. I know you can get down with this, right? Uh, Black man who really didn't have Afro hair, like that real kinky, Afro coily, thick Afro hair. They finally just said, shit, damn with that. They got tired of getting a tight wet set, trying to make themselves have an Afro. So that's what that Superfly look. See, they really didn't have thick hair. So when you see Ryan O'Neal's hairline, he really
Okay.
didn't he really didn't have a thick head of hair. So everybody started coming out say, forget this damn thick ass, big ass, black man afro with the sideburn. See, he still had the sideburns, but his hair was kind of thin. So they just came out and started getting wet sets. So that's them roller sets. And then they just started combing it back and then pushing it forward and then kind of, right.
Wow.
Because most black people assume that all black people had hair thick enough to have an afro. They didn't. You had to have a certain texture to have that banging ass afro. If you had some thin hair, man, so they just decided to just, comb it
So
off.
how would this how does the how does the Afro how does the let me show him again. Um Again, in honor of
How
Black
did we
History.
go? How did we go into the Pretty Boy Floyd?
Well, what's the difference between the conk and Ron O'Neal's? Here we go. What is the difference?
That's a wet set. That's not a perm.
What?
That's a wet set. That's just you went blow drying it. See, that was his hair.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
He
Okay.
he actually had a
But
very
But men were parming their hair in the 70s.
Oh, absolutely.
So what's the difference between the conk?
Absolutely.
So what is the difference between the conk and what was happening in the 70s, or is there no difference? It's just wordplay.
Well, the conkaline was the conk got its name from the actual product. It was much more. It's the same thing as, I drink, Hennessy versus moonshine. So conkaline is like the moonshine of the relaxer world. And then
Hennessy is moonshine?
No, what I'm saying is, if a person drinks moonshine, which is kind of raw, you know what I mean? But then you start getting that commercialized liquor, that Crown Royal. So I'm just saying, relaxer was the Crown Royal. It was just an elevation. Usually these hairstyles come from the name of the actual product. They don't get a separate name and then you use another product. The name of the product usually is what the hairstyle is called. So when you use conkaline, the conkaline cream, right? And it's that made up home version of moonshine. And then it kind of gets a little elevated, gets a little commercial, it gets a little sexier, and then it starts getting a brand name, and then you start getting a French perm.
Oh, okay.
Now you start
drinking. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. All right. So now, so we see what the 1970s version was really all about when we're talking about uplifting
and straight hair. And let me just say this: straight hair, well, did have a psychosexual connotation when black men were trying to be pretty. You know what I mean? And so to be pretty, and it has nothing to do with even sexual orientation. I mean, because obviously, you ain't gonna tell, you wouldn't go up to Muhammad Ali and tell him, man, you ain't shit, man, you trying to be gay, or you trying, and then he called himself pretty, knock your ass out. And
he said, I'm pretty. I'm a bad man. Y'all remember that? That's what Muhammad Ali said.
So that's the era of being a pretty man. Okay. And so it was okay to be, elegant and so that's when you start seeing, the Mac pretty men. And so that's your era of that. And trying to look palatable for Hollywood.
All right. So now we are coming out of Superfly. We're moving over into some locks. So let's talk about Bob Marley's locks. The locks, movement there, and everybody wanting to do the Rasta, or just the style. So, how were locks liberating here in America for Black folk, especially that definitely was coming out of Jamaica. I'm certain of that one, guys. So we know Bob Marley definitely had an influence here in America on just letting the hair just go. So what was that influence on this American, fabric here?
Locks are quite the contrary to letting it go. You have to be quite deliberate to let your hair mat. And there's definitely a distinction between the Rastafari movement in Jamaica, as it comes from Brazil through Africa, right? And it's really an oxymoron to have locks and liberation at the same time, because of course, because locks is a hairstyle born out of strife, warriorism, fighting, bonding with your, and fighting against the establishment. And they locked their hair because of the lockdown of Ethiopia. And so they locked their hair because of the civil liberties being locked down by the royal crown, the British crown, to protest colonialism. That's what Bob Marley fought about. The hair, because of the orphan mentality of Black Americans, we took the hairstyle and admired the courage of people like Bob Marley, Peter Tosh, and the Rastafari movement of the Ethiopian people. But at no certain terms, that is not. They were trying to fight freedom and get freedom through locks. Locks for Black people in the continental U.S. Just took it on to mean freedom, but it's a very political, very hot.
Here we go. Out with you, Monica. Here we go. Come on. Let me read it out again. The audacity. I heard some say, I was supposed to go there, Monica. I was Finch too. I'm sorry. I said, let me break Finch 2 down. It means I was getting ready. I was Finch to go there. Again, the audacity. I heard some say, I dread society and lock out oppression.
Right.
And you're saying.
And that is because you notice that there is no hair loss issues in the Jamaica culture of locks because the whole scalp shoulders the weight. Bob Marley's locks were very thick. They were not thin, little pulled apart little tendrils and getting it done every 2 weeks and all this other bullshit that we do. We make it about cosmetic. That's cosmetic, but those are not the same meaning.
So that's another narrative that we've got wrong.
That's commercialism.
Okay,
that's a commercial.
All right. So number one, we got wrong that the locks were not really about freedom. They were locking their hair
in protest.
In protest. Wow. And then the lock hairstyles are definitely, which we kind of know that. And we got Juju in the chat. Let me give a round of applause. We got the pseudo killers. When the pseudo killers come through, it's always an honor because you can see the inspiration. So let me give a big round of applause to my girl, Yolanda, was in the chat. They're very influential and instrumental in the work that I do here as a cosmetologist. So, Juju, I really, really, really appreciate you. So that's a narrative that we just have to help change, guys. And we're just saying some crazy stuff. All right. Let's move on over. We'll tack 2 at a time because it's 7:13. I want to have everybody here too long. Let's rock through the California curl and the relaxer. So these two remain contentious situations here in the United States and around the world when it comes to Black women and men with their hair. So number one, you still have the health scare of formaldehyde and sodium hydroxide, and phthalates and all that other, stuff. But the California curl and the relaxer, I mean, we definitely know they kind of helped us out a lot, but where in the history and the fabric here of America, how was this California curl and this relaxer? What did it do for America?
Well, and I want you guys to follow how, and this is very important for all branches of Black folks, religious, conscious, commercial, capitalist, and everybody to understand. You know what I mean? Everybody.
Candace Owens.
All of them. Political, non-political, culturist, futurist, whatever. But to understand this, look at the chronological movements of your people. Look at them. Plantation, okay? Getting off, okay? Straightening, leaving it, press and curl, Quo Vadis, Muslims, the civil rights movement. Look at what we're doing. And by the time you get up to the Afro, look at what that did. That added culture, that added consciousness, that went into the flower power, that went into the power movement. So we were trying to gain culture. Then you step up to what she asked me just now. So we took care of movements, because when you have live in a democracy, you have to really understand moving through class brackets, economic brackets. So what the curl did at that time, we had gotten everything else. What now do you think we were after? It's called billions. It's called consumerism. It's called the money, raising our economics. We were economically focused coming out of those movements that just allowed us to civil rights. We had to focus on rights. We had to focus on the Constitution, power movement. We had to focus on access and liberty and the Constitution. So when you talk about now, we want industry. We want billions. We want the money of our consumer power. So that is why we went into the chemical version of our cosmetology brilliance. So now we started getting into technology. We took white folks' old shit, reformulated it, told them, now this is what we're going to give you back. Now black people are going to be able to do it because the way you did it's not conducive to Afro textured hair. So Mr. Morrow reformulated it. Now it's the curl. Then we actually took a turn when that came out of vogue, and we went back to what? Elegance. We went back into straight hair. So we increased it. We took it to $1 billion industry, hair care. So we were focused in industrial power and economics, building economies in black communities. That is what them two hairstyles did. Okay. Something happened. We can talk about it in terms of where we are now and how we went into the weave and back into some oops and some oops, and we went into weaves. And our relationship with Asia, thank God, was still intact because we were able to get waft hair and wigs and things of that nature. Now, no one had to teach us how to weave, even though Mr. Morrow, because of his travels to Asia, teaching the Afro, he created and cultivated the relationships with Asia. So we were able to create those, like the silk lanes, the silk road lanes of the early 16th, 17th century. We had our own silk road, in which dealing with weaves and hair. But, you know, instead of us criticizing because we want to be stuck into what our ancestors had already given us, we already got our culture. We don't need to solidify our culture again with another natural movement. That's solidified already. What we need to understand.
But I think people don't see it that way. I think that the arrogance, I think somehow I'm gonna blame this on education. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No,
But I'm not sorry. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. Okay. I blame the miseducation of the Negro. This is Black History Month. And if you have not read Carter G. Woodson's book, Miseducation of the Negro, I have some free copies. I'll give it to you today. But I blame the miseducation of the Negro because it's the, when you look at that natural hair movement, I know y'all like, Dosha, you hate. And if I'm hating, I mean, just,
oh man,
I don't have no problem. I blame the scholars because they came through with that natural hair bullfragger paggernackle, encroached on the industry. Now they back on the college campuses and now they want to teach. They are the ones who are writing the narratives of acculturation and appropriation. They are the ones who are all of the funding, you know, for all this research, talking about, you know, relaxers cause cancer. It is your African American scholars who are totally disrespecting and ignoring the economic opportunities that we use with chemical alterations to, as they say in the Smithsonian Institute, for the 2024 Black History Month is the art of resistance. How do we use art to do what? Uplift, speak truth to power, and liberate our people. We straighten, we alter that effing hair.
And you got to get that out of, you got to get that Negro chip out of black folks because we don't want to look at
you mean, hold on, pause. I got to back it up. I got to back it on up. Did you say deactivate the Negro chip? Because I heard Roy Hagan say deactivate the Willie Lynch chip, but I ain't never heard no black person say deactivate the Negro chip. Come on, on, hit that heart button for this channel. How you do that? We talking about Black History Month. What you talking about?
Well, first of all, pain makes you sensationalize your experience and make it what it's not, because you are emotionally attached to a lie. And so what you do is that you exaggerate your experience. You get away from the facts, exaggerate it, you go over the real meaning of it, what happened, and you have no ability to critically think, and you cannot work your way out of it because you're so busy trying to sensationalize it so you can get a cookie, a piece of candy, and an apple. When what you're after and about what you're about to give up with your pain and all of your lack of critical thinking and intellectual laziness, you're going to give up billions trying to deal with your 2-cent pride and ego talking about some seeds in your damn hair.
Come on, hit that heart button. This is America's favorite podcast about Afro hair. You don't want none of this smoke on this channel. Don't you come over here talking this crazy stuff. Because I'm telling you, we need to call these people on the carpet. I did,
and let me just say this. And one of the reasons why I do not like African American study professors talking about it, because your ass is tenured and you trying to get tenured. You trying to get another spot on the plantation, which means that you cannot tell the truth. And at the end of the day, my people, every stitch of a Black woman since she landed in the shores of America paid. I am not a guest. I don't have to see shit backwards, upside down, and inside out. I can see it for what it is. At the end of the day, it's capitalism. Black shit is valuable shit. It's expensive shit.
Come on,
twisted. I can get it twisted and fuck around and get it taken from me. That's what I'm going to do if I get it twisted. But if I see it for what it is, I can repackage it, get my mind right, resell it, and I can make sure that I understand the value of Blackness, because it's expensive.
It's some expensive shit.
And not only that, I don't mind sharing with the rest of the world. You just eat third. You will not eat first and second, and you will not be in the lion's share position. But being ignorant and lack of critical thinking makes you give up your goods because you're so busy trying to be sensitive about your experience. Okay, we know living in America has been hard. But we can't get it wrong because it's too valuable to get wrong. And I'm going to resell it because, hey, let me tell you something. They can't sell a product without selling hip hop. They can't sell a product without selling, what's her name? Simone. What's her name? The jazz singer.
Nina Simone.
They can't do it. They can't sell no product without Nina Simone. Every 5 minutes, they selling something, and you got Nina Simone.
Whatever Lola wants.
You can't sell nothing.
No.
Black folks.
Y'all want none.
Stop getting emotional and start looking at the value of what you have. How many Black folks have ever been to New York in the chat?
In the chat, how many of you
New York City.
How many of you have ever been to New York in the chat? I'm going to hit it up. Please, guys, if you have not hit the heart, I'm going to go ahead on while we're waiting for you guys.
You been to New York, Ladosha?
How many? Oh, you know I live in New York. How many of y'all been to New York? You can help change the narrative right now. Answer the question.
Pampa me on, pampa me on.
All right. How many people have been to New York? Cheryl is going somewhere with this question. Okay. A lot of people say they have been to New York. Thank you so much, Monica, for helping me out. She says, please hit the thumbs up button. So a lot of people have been to New York. Where you going?
Have you been to because when I say New York, I actually mean Manhattan.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So with all of that culture you guys have, all of that fabulous, wonderful Harlem nights and Brooklynites and Queens and this and that and this and that. At the end of the day, the oldest monument in the Western Hemisphere in North America is in New York City. How many of you have been to see it?
You mean the Statue of Liberty? Is that the oldest monument? Uh-oh. is
No,
not.
that's the oldest monument in North America.
In North America.
Is where? In
Well,
Manhattan.
It's in
I'm
Manhattan.
right. And I'm
Okay.
saying what I'm trying to make
Monica
my
said,
point
isn't in
is
Central Park.
it is in Central Park.
Okay.
And what is it?
I don't know. I have been to Central Park, but I don't know. We about to get it. This is again the dumbest shit that people say about black hair. Okay, here we go. Sandra E says the obelisk monument in NYC. Is she correct?
Yeah, she is. But
All right.
But have you been to it? Don't look it up. Don't just cook it up. What is it?
What is it?
Now y'all they're gonna go to Wikipedia.
Hold on. I'm gonna go.
I understand that, but my point is, once a week, once every 2 weeks, I made sure I got my ass down there to see what it is. The twin of Cleopatra's Needle. It is dedicated to Cancer, the constellation Cancer.
I got y'all. Hold on, I'm coming. Hold on, y'all know don't cook it up. Look it up. I was you, Monica. This is what we are learning here. It is Black History Month. It kicks off for the rest of the year. We talking about what? How Afro how art here is this in this month contributed to the resistance, the uplifting, and speaking truth to power to liberate Black people. That is the theme for Black History Month / year in 2024. And so here we are talking about the obelisk Cleopatra's Needle. So kick the ballistics, G. What are we looking at here?
You are looking at that was stolen, given by the Turkish Ottoman king, and gave it to them tacky ass, tired ass white folks, and they brought it here. But here's the thing, just to go to show you how big it is, when you hear the story of how the United States got it here, that used to be in the Nile Valley at Karnak, in the Nile Valley at the Giza Plateau. And for Black folks to not go see that, it's so spooky, it's so huge. And you're looking and you're thinking about why they gift your shit to themselves. That's why I can't afford to be stupid. That's why I can't afford not to get my shit together. That's why I can't afford, as a Black woman, not be able to know the value of everything I think, feel, touch, smell. I have to sell everything. Every damn thing. That was what the curl and the relaxer was about. It was not about trying to be white, de-white, unwhite, cultural, or any of that. It was to get the economic power back. That's what it was about. And to get their hands as much cash, to get their hands on much finance, to get their hands on as much capital and funding to get it back. That is what industry does. That is how important the Black people in cosmetology is about. It's not about to assimilate. It's not about being... I mean, just to have that conversation is just so freaking ridiculous.
Wow.
Much shit that was stolen from you. You have the Black folks contemplate thoughts that are just so against their interest to even think about. We ain't got time to be talking about who do we think is shit with my ass, nose, lips, and ass bigger than the shit. You looking like me, I'm looking like you. We talking about we gonna be white. How the hell can I hide my lips?
Right, but now you have Monica in the chat is saying, but it's sold to people who wanted what?
But it is sold. What is it?
She means the chemicals, the relaxer and the curl. Is that what you mean, Monica? Drop that in the chat. I believe she's saying, but it meaning the relaxer and the curl, the California curl, sold to people who wanted what?
I am still trying to understand that question.
She said she doesn't see the economic value and the power of chemicals. Girl, listen here.
So you don't know. So you don't understand the power of water. You don't understand the power of Vaseline. You don't understand the power of being able to take a coconut and make it into coconut oil so you can take it home and fry your food with it. You don't understand who got paid off of that. You don't understand what Crisco and Greece does to the industrial, the food, and the cosmetic industry. You don't understand who got paid 15 times before it reached your house. And while you up here trying to put culture and dumb goodness and stupid suffering into your capitalist society, while your black people are on the poorest, do you understand that the richest man who ever lived is now part of the poorest country in the world? How did that happen? And that's what we have to understand. Culture is culture. Now, the great Malcolm X, Al-Hajj Malik Shabazz told you, you do not bring your culture and your ethos and ethics and your morals to a capitalistic society. It is incompatible. You will die in despair, penniless, and cracking on dog food if you bring your morals to this game. You are not in Oz. Your ass is in Kansas, black folks.
And I don't like it.
Understand why we get so balled up in dumb goodness and stupid suffering. At the end of the day, everything's a chemical. When I take a coconut, climb up a tree, the brilliance of it, he comes down and he chops up and he takes oil from the hull, makes water and for cleansing and detergent from the water of the coconut. You mean you can't understand how to industrialize that and make that some money and put a label on it and put it in a store, and now all of a sudden they write about you 50 years later saying that you was a coconut millionaire?
No, we just want
industrial power. That's what it's called.
Yeah, I don't think that black people see the power, the economic power. I think we are really, really caught on because
it's almost like this. What difference does it make if God gave us riches in our soil? We have no riches in our consciousness. We can't get the shit out of the ground. The shit we gonna talk about, well, at least we rich. We got to get the oil out of the ground, refine it, take it and subtract its chemical components, its nitrogen, its carbon. Then we got to make dioxide. Then we got greenhouses, and now we can fuel and light our houses. We have to have the brilliance to separate the chemical knowledge and technology. Everything black folks starts and from a natural, organic, herbal, or botanical place. But if you cannot extract it and refine it and turn it into something else, what good is it?
Well, it's black beauty because it's natural. It's all about being natural.
Because oil, it has to be made. Oil don't come out of natural of nothing. I mean, I don't understand black folks. I mean, come on now, we got to go back to cut. See, that's the problem. We need about another 100 years on the plantation because we ain't got stupid.
Oh my Lord.
Put our asses back on the because we don't fucking know anything.
Woo!
We talk like we just don't we don't even know how to make liquor. You don't even know what the don't you understand that chemistry gives you the chemical properties of the philosopher's stone? Don't you understand what that alchemy is about?
But I love me some liquor now. I love me some liquor. Damn, come on, dear black people. We've got to stop it, bro.
Hey, come on now, stop.
Come on now, we got 16 people in the chat. We need 16 likes. There's no reason right now. Everybody just take your finger and hit the heart button. We need to get this information out more. YouTube will show us a lot more if you guys would be so kind. All you have to do is slide your finger over to that little bitty button. And all you have to do is what Sandra E. and Monica is in the chat causing all this controversy. They're asking you to just do one thing, and it's right here. All right, we see them hearts coming on up. We appreciate you guys so much. One last video here as we wrap up about how Afro art contributed to the resistance, upliftment, speaking truth to power and taking our people out of all types of crazy stuff. And we're showing you right here is that we have to do these splitting these molecules up. But what about this right here? Let me just kind of show this here, because this is a hairstyle that definitely has something to do with changing the landscape here in America. And let me just show my little video right here. Here we go.
Bet you've never seen it like this.
Why? Why would you put that? Are they paying you to advertise for them?
Mary Winfrey is a no-nonsense high school science teacher with 4 sons of her own.
I said, people get money for advertising. I said, are you getting any? You're paying money. A lot of it to have that cut in to your hair.
Tell me why. The song is My Prerogative. The message is do your own thing. And the artist is Bobby Brown. It's my prerogative. A 20-year-old who favors a Gumby cut.
The price of this haircut is $40. What I would do is charge $5 for the lines in his hair. I charge $5 for the color in his hair, and $30 for the curl.
$40 for a haircut? If that isn't bad enough, these fellas have to come back every 2 weeks for a touch-up.
When I first walked in the house, my mom and dad was like, excuse me, why do you have that in your hair?
All right now. All right, we talking about $40 in 1980 for a haircut. And brothers are saying today that $40 is expensive for a haircut. But in 1980 in New York, I was like maybe 90s. I'm sorry, 90s. A Gumby cut with the parts and all of that was $40. Did you notice how the barbers was dressed? Did you notice that? Let me take you guys back.
Come on.
Let me just show you guys how the barbers were dressed. I was just over. I said, "Oh, I didn't know barbers was rocking it like this." Let me guys show you again. I'm just gonna kind of scrub this a little bit. Let me just take it back here. Let's see.
You always take credit for everything that come out.
Shit.
Years ago, the Afro was hip. Then it was the Quo Vadis. Dusty, who's been cutting hair for 25 years, says he loves the fade because it brings out the artist in him.
A lot of our clientele are starting to get different.
Look at this. This man, hold on, let me bring it back. This frog got a whole, he looking like the nation. This the fruit of Islam over here cutting his hair. What is up? Look at this.
Hey.
Talk to me. Talk to me about this.
That's Mr. Morrow's generation right there, baby. I don't know what these clowns doing now.
Take that back.
I don't know what these clowns doing now.
Look at the way the barbers are dressed in this video here. It's just absolutely
amazing.
It's amazing. Help us understand a little bit about that high top fade and take us through like
the high top fade came from 1940.
Really?
It's not new. It's not new. That's a military cut. let me just say this. That's what younger generations do. That's what we supposed to do. That's what younger generations supposed to take a little bit of old, baby, and then match it up and boom, bam, and do something fabulous with it.
All right. So as we can see, the high top fade is not even in the 90s.
Yeah, wait a minute. Didn't you just see Little Richard? He already had the pompadour. He already had that. It's just redoing something. They put the line. It's just artistry.
But
and probably the brothers of the 1990s probably did it the best.
That whole art of barbering and cutting, shapes and Adidas into the hair, that definitely contributed to the the art of resistance, uplifting, speaking truth to power, and freeing people. You can't get any better, right?
Absolutely.
Than a high top fade. Let's close it out with the one and only, the illustrious. Let's bring in Miss Tokyo Styles for all my wears. I like this young lady right here, Miss Tokyo Styles. So let's see what she's all about.
Oh, shucky.
Kardashian. It's a lot.
Wow! Get it! Woo! Get it! Woo! Come through. Come on now.
What wig? This is my hair, girl. But no, this is 60 inches raw Indian hair. It's very hard to find. It's very expensive. A wig like this could cost anywhere from like $2,500 to like $3,800.
What?
I've been doing hair since I was 9 years old. I am now 28 years old. So
Jesus!
You do the math. Well, my mom was incarcerated at the time. And I lived with my father, me and my younger sister. So I pretty much stepped up to the plate to help him out and, take care of her while my mom was away. And that's like where I put my craft for doing hair. I started making wigs when I was about 20, 21. I was doing it first to help out a friend. She had like a cancer organization. I was making wigs for cancer patients. My regular clients were seeing the wigs that I were making. And I used to post my little videos with swinging my hair and stuff, like going crazy. And it was like, oh my God, I want one. And it like literally turned into like this domino effect. And I never imagined like that's what I would be famous for. It's for like the wigs and stuff. I always knew I was a great stylist, but the wigs it was never a thing that I imagined.
Wow. All right. So,
absolutely amazing. And one of the things in my,
So yes,
man.
There's Tokyo Styles, wonderful. I mean, talented. Now an icon. I know a lot of people like I'm telling y'all, this weave,
baby,
big bucks.
Yes.
Talk about the weaves, and remember, we're talking about the art of resistance, uplifting, speaking truth to power, and liberating people. No, Tokyo Styles does not have her license. When you are working on the Hollywood set, you don't need a cosmetology.
You're not going to be able to cosmetology that anyway.
Yeah.
That has nothing to do, because at the end of the day, that is plumb artesian mechanics. That is because you don't have to have a cosmetology license to do theater. So, you have to have a cosmetologist if you choose to practice in a salon environment.
Right.
And it's a different art form. Mm-hmm. But I want to make sure that there is an industry guidance and help and structure and organization for young artists like that, if they choose to get into other branches of cosmetology. Therefore, he will need education.
Right. And when you look at Tokyo Styles' work, I don't know, she, okay. I'm gonna call her, okay.
Let me tell you something. That's embodied. You ain't gonna that came into this world with that spirit. Baby, that's girl, you
Yeah,
ain't gonna
okay.
do nothing with that.
Yes, so so when you look at the work that she's doing
She's
for the
doing, yeah.
celebrities, she really is caring for their hair. You can see very clean.
Yeah,
She's
absolutely.
high end. Like I said, you're talking
High.
about this ain't nothing. I'm not saying hairstylists don't do it, but that's a whole other conversation. But we
Absolutely.
cannot deny, as we wrap this up, talk about the power of the weave business here and the fabric of Black history in America and how all of this kind of as we wrap this up. Let's talk about, because a lot of people, I hate weave.
Well, and let me just say this, and of course you our culture as a collective would not understand it because how it got introduced into the household collective of Black America in the first place, and it unfortunately got in through hair loss.
Okay.
Not the fact that it's not always been there, but because it was an aid to be able to get Black and men, Black women and men, such as don't act like men. Y'all ain't wore no toupees. Your ass wore toupees too. Mr. Morrow used to do toupees. Tony Bennett, all them athletes that didn't want to be bald until y'all got the baldy. Y'all was in those toupees, and so the key here is that, and you see how toupees didn't and hair pieces didn't get the stigma, but weaves did. You know what I mean? And so that's just the nature of, just women have to bear the brunt of the stigma. But when you go back to the 1950s and 60s and 70s, and we were wearing weaves, and we had the power of wigs, and we always wore wigs. Okay. Our relationship with Asia has always been a good one. And I know it's been rocky through the 90s and in the 2000s. I get it. But here we go again. It is always, and I will always push us to be able to have the skill set of critical analysis, critical thinking skills, to be able to see the weaving market as a branch and segment of cosmetology that is purely artistic, and until it gets cosmetic, then we get into cosmetic trichology, and then we get into prosthesis, which is a whole nother branch.
All right.
But I would call a Tokyo Styles to work in alongside of my
no, you can't. I mean, if you don't, yeah. I'm sorry for cutting you off. If you don't know who Tokyo Styles is, just go on any social media platform. Look at that wonderful story. Here's a child whose mother was incarcerated and decided, I got to help my dad out. Remember, Cheryl said we have to stop using our circumstances to stifle us from what we need to do to survive economically, because we need money. I know y'all don't like it, but I'm telling you right now, it is all about the Benjamins. Anywho, we're going to wrap this up. We will be back on Thursday. We're going to continue this conversation as we talk about, as you can see, we have the hairstyles. We covered a lot of myths that really hurt the Afro hair industry. So we're going to continue this discussion, but from a professional perspective, talking about what are we as cosmetologists and barbers, what are we doing to contribute to some of this ignorance as well? And so we did also do our afternoon podcast for cosmetology. And it's the Barbering and Cosmetology Student Edition right here on the Afro Hair Science. And it is called So You Think You Can Do Hair. And this was put together by our intern, Miss Samaria. Let me give her a round of applause. Her name is Miss Samaria Smith. And so this is actually her ideal. And you know what? You and Ladosha, you guys are doing this stuff, while we're in school and when we're trying to go to bed. So we're missing out. So why don't you guys host something in the afternoon that we can watch while we're in cosmetology school on our breaks? We did our first one today. And you know what? it was well attended. And
yes,
the students were in the chat and they absolutely loved it. And so if you guys want to come on and join us in the afternoon, that's every Monday at 12 o'clock. In the meantime, don't forget, if you are a licensed professional, we invite you to join us. Cheryl and I, we will be at the show this month in Atlanta in partnership with the Beauty Care Professionals of America. So Jackie D will be in the house, and the host of what was Kevin Anthony, right?
Kevin Anthony.
Okay, so Kevin Anthony is going to be in the house. We are going to go live from the Bronner Brothers Hair Show, so stick around for that. And I think that's pretty much it. Cheryl, how you closing us out? Because this was, good Lord, A. Nichols.
We are all artists, and I think that we choose our specialty. We choose how we're going to express our artistry in terms of how we get money and how we extract things, right? And how we pour them back into the industry to make it more fruitful to the future generations. And that I don't think there are no greater friends of liberty and people's rights and people's liberties in pursuit of happiness than cosmetologists and barbers.
Can't get any better than that. All right.
I think we are the most patriotic group in America.
How I said that. I second that emotion. All right, yeah. So I second that.
And go listen to some nice, fabulous Black disco.
Yeah, we'll do a disco song. We'll hit a little bit. Super duper shout out in the chat. My BFF Rashida, Sandra, Kim T, the stylist, Juju, we love you. Please come back and hang out with us. Yolanda Zachary, Sandra E, our virtual co-host, Maria Jones, LaWanna Bennett. We also have Monica, my other BFF in Atlanta. She got the fire. She got the chat on fire tonight.
Yeah,
we talked about LB Hair Savant. We absolutely love you. Also Dewey, and then also where's she go? Where's she at? Oh, Chucky! I didn't see you. You know what? Oh, my homeboy Chuck. We slam.
Oh man.
Baby, I'm telling you right now, go check him out on Facebook. He the baddest motherfucker plucker right here. I mean, he out the god dang that Chucky is say, watch out, Tokyo. If you can't afford Chucky, wait a minute now. Chucky is not that far behind on them prices from Tokyo. So if you're on the budget, don't you call up Chucky. Somebody said, no, you gonna pay Chucky because Chucky does not play. All right, and so where'd she go? I want to make sure I don't miss her name because she's always Eileen. Okay,
Eileen,
so y'all go check out Chucky. He is here in Cleveland, Ohio, and sometimes in between states. So check out Charles Calhoun. People call me Chucky Chuck. Chuck, look. I'm a hip hop head. Y'all like disco. I'm shooting out all the hip hop jams, but Chucky is one of my favorite people. I love him so much. He's taught me so much as a cosmetologist, a salon owner, and he is. When I tell you this baby can slay some weeds, baby, let me tell you.
Okay, well, you like that hip hop, but I'll tell you about that. Get down, boogie, oogie, woogie, get
down. Boogie. All right, so we're gonna come through and do a little disco for Cheryl because I actually the entire chat loves disco, so we'll put a little disco tunes in after our stuff. We thank you guys so very much. You know what we say when we're signing out, right? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, or else Sandra and Monica is going to get y'all. So we do have the likes. We appreciate you guys. And you know what we say when we're signing out, right? We're always talking about a whole lot of peace, a whole lot of love, and most certainly a whole lot of hair. But check it out. If you ain't got it, don't want it, can't grow it, can't stand it, hell, you plan on cutting it off in 2024, you got some ball patches, you know, we say, don't y'all worry about all of that because all of you is beautiful too. All right, have a wonderful night, and let me play our little, because we got our little commercial. So now I think I'm doing something.
Oh yeah, she thinks she does.
I done got my little grid on here. So here's our commercial. Y'all have a wonderful night. So here we go. Sure, you ready for the chit chat tonight?
I'm ready.
Bam, bam, bam. He or she said, cancel this damn show. They hate it. What? Hold on. Wait a minute.
Make black hair great again.
Hold on. Wait a minute. Now, woo.
We're coming, get our check.
Cheryl, Morrow, the one, the only, the hair oracle.
Well, it was Red Dot, and then we also had a cosmetology school instructor in the chat, Miss Denise West, Michelle Allen, Miss Foster. Dang, I missed your name. It's always nice to see Miss Foster in the chat. Michelle Allen, you know how much we love you too.
What? About a whole lot of peace. Cheryl, you order that in a bag of chips. All right, guys, we'll see you on Thursday. Y'all have a good night, and don't forget, like, share, and subscribe. Deuces.